All right, people, we're back with a brand new episode of How'd We Get Here? And this is another one of our Halloween episodes. This time we're going to be talking about a recent film that just came out, one that we've kind of been really dying to talk about. We've kind of covered it a little bit when the trailer dropped a couple months ago. Joe, what are we talking about tonight, bro?
For people that they're visually impaired or just listening and not looking at the screen, well, it's obvious that we'll be talking about Hellboy the Crooked Man that just recently dropped a couple weeks ago.
Right. The fourth Hellboy movie, the new I guess it's a reboot. I'm not sure what they're even doing with it, but
I wouldn't even call it a reboot. I'd call it just fuck it. Let's like 007, like James Bond movies. It's just a continuation. It's another story, different actor, different storyline. I'd just say it's a continuation. Like, fuck, why not? It's a different story. This story hasn't been told. They don't really go into his origin per se, which we'll probably get into that. They touch on it a little bit in a different way from all the other ones. They tackle a different aspect of Hellboy's origin that's in the comics. So it adds more to the Hellboy lore. If people haven't read the books, you watch all the movies, this adds an extra layer into how Hellboy came to be. So, which is another aspect of this movie that is pretty cool.
Word, but before we get into all that, man, you have a check-in. If my ears did not deceive me, right?
I don't know. Can you see it well? Maybe if I turn on my other light. Ooh, yeah. Check that goodness out, man. It's the Mask Mezco 112 figure. This was a pre-order from a while back. Look at that. It's so cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the newest addition to my Mezco 112 collection.
How many faces does that come with? Because that's probably not the only one, right? Oh, there's three different.
There's one with the bullet wound in the middle of the head with blood coming down it past his nose and into his teeth, and he has the big smile. And another one is him motorboating. So you get like the 3 or 4 different faces from the motorboat type thing. Yeah, it comes with bombs. How bad is this movie? It's James Edward Clark is in the house. He's got a Kickstarter going. We're actually going to give a little promo for that when we do another Hellboy book, because it's definitely touches on similar vibes to his new book that's out on Kickstarter, Evil, which is a wrestling, luchador wrestling type book, which is actually pretty good for the holidays, man. You could go over onto Kickstarter and back that on the book's called Evil, James Edward Clark. You might have backed one of his other projects called Piss Ant Apocalypse. That's also available in the tiers. If you haven't backed that, that's another fantastic book. So go check that out. We'll have a little video when we do one of our Hellboy videos. I believe there's 2 weeks left on his campaign. So we'll be dropping a little plug for that in the coming days.
Right. Yeah. And I have a check-in too. Like I've recently purchased my first bit of original art commissioned. I got this really beautiful Usagi Ojimbo cover by Adrian Koleric, our good friend of the show. And he's just mailed that out to me today. So I should be getting that next week. I'm really excited for that.
It's pretty cool, man.
And pretty cool. And when I saw he was doing a Usagi Ninja Turtles cover, I just had to get in on it, man. And I'm really happy that he's my first piece of like original commissioned artwork too. It's like kind of all comes back, you know. That's groovy.
It's a good one. Yeah, it is a good one.
So
actually, speaking of, I just backed Evil the other day, and I backed the commission tier from James. As Evil, yeah. So I'm going to get a commission this time around.
What are you going to get? Or are you still
thinking... You can pick, so it'll be either Lobo, Hellboy. I'm going to let him pick whatever he wants to do. I'm going to give him a pick of 3 or 4, and I'll let him pick one that he hasn't drawn, that he'd like to draw out of the 4. Whichever one he feels like drawing the most, I'll just let him pick out of like 4 different ones, and then see what I get. It'll be a semi-surprise.
Yeah,
if I can do that.
His Max is really good too. But yeah, like that's pretty much the only check-in I really have. Oh, I watched a movie last night. It was okay. It was called Azrael. It had
Okay.
Weaving in it. Like it's like a post-apocalyptic movie where they don't talk, and like it's pretty much just her getting her ass beat the whole movie. It was okay. If you're a fan of her, like she's badass in it, like always, but it wasn't super good. It was kind of like on the same level as like Monkey Man, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Monkey Man was okay. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but it, you know.
You had a hard time like getting behind the character's motivations, though. You're just kind of like,
Mhm.
yeah. But like, I like the way it like it went. You know, like it just kind of, it's kind of like Rebel Ridge. It's just one of those movies that just fucking started. You know what I mean? There was like no actual beginning. It just bam, right off the rails from the start. You know, so that was fun. But without further ado, let's go ahead and answer James Edward Clark's question. Man, this movie isn't bad at all, dude. This movie is extremely opinion.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned your check-in, you had a movie. We actually watched a halfway decent horror movie called The Oddity.
The Oddity.
Yeah, it's like Scottish or Irish. I can't remember, one or the other. And it's about twin sisters. One gets killed, the other one wants to find out what happened to her. And she's a clairvoyant kind of anyway person. It's kind of cool. It's not bad actually.
You said it's a French movie?
No, it's either Scottish or Irish. I can't remember.
Oh,
yeah. So that wasn't bad. The Oddity. I think Cookie had watched it and she said it was pretty good. So I saw it this week, and Pat and I were thinking of watching something, so we put that on, and it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. Sorry. All right, that's it.
yeah, Megalopolis. I don't know if I want to watch that. That does look completely terrible.
That's a whatchamacallit? No,
Francis Fartknocker Coppola's new movie.
Yeah, Coppola. Yeah. Scary because it was bad, or scary because it was scary?
No, I think it's just terrible. Like I don't think it looks scary. Like I don't know, like Shia LaBeouf as like the Roman Emperor or whatever the hell he is in it. Like,
okay,
that's a little scary. But yeah, but I would say, man, this Hellboy movie, it's really good, man. Like if you really like the Richard Corbin Crooked Man comic, like this movie is just a straight up adaptation, a little added to it to make the ending more exciting. But that's kind of all they really did. And they I guess they did add a subplot with a new character, but she fit right in. Like I didn't really notice that there was anything attached really.
Yeah, because a lot of the Hellboy stories anyway, he's part of the BPRD. Yeah, so he often has like a partner, which in the comics often doesn't work out great for them. They often die, but actually one of the agents does die in this movie, so I guess they do keep in with the tradition of the book to a certain degree. But yeah, so it's not uncommon for Hellboy to have an agent buddy with him, and it kind of explains why he's in the Appalachian mountains and stuff like that. Kind of, they're transporting cargo. The cargo gets loose in the train cart. They get into a fight, and the kind of train.
It knocks the container unit that they're in, that they're in off the actual train platform. The actual, yeah. So that's how they end up like knocked off the train, and then like that's how they're looking for a phone, and that's how they wander into the house that's been witched by Cora Fisher. So it doesn't take long to get to the story from the comic. It just kind of adds a little bit like why they're there. It's not like they didn't get called in because of the witch ball, like they were accidentally here, and that's kind of like the biggest change I would say to the story, right?
Yeah, because in the original one, right, it's just Hellboy wandering on his own, because at one point he just goes off on his own. He kind of quits the BPRD. And
well, no, in this was like still when he was working for the BPRD. This is in his early days. This was in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
So so like he was being sent out, but like he was still pretty new to it, kind of like how it was in this film. But like he was sent out to investigate the actual witching of the boy in the comic, and he met Tom Farrell, and that's how he ended up on the adventure with Tom. Whereas this one, like they were en route, and they got knocked off, and they ended up meeting Tom in a happenstance kind of way. And then Bobby Sue is the reason why they ended up like joining.
Yeah, that's Mega whatever.
Megalopolis, yeah.
Megalopolis, yeah. I didn't realize. Did you go to theaters to see that, or is that available to rent now?
No, I think it's in theaters only still.
Okay. I haven't heard much about it. I think James is the first person I've heard.
Oh no, I've seen lots of people talking about it. I'm not very few of it's good. Like Big Mikey from our friends over at Beyond the Pages, I believe was his show. Like he really liked it, but he also likes the Grateful Dead and stuff. So like we don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. He's like into a lot of hippie shit. But yeah, back to the Crooked Man. I would say like this movie getting deprived of the theatrical release is kind of sad because like it was one of the better movies I've seen of the year, to tell you the truth.
I enjoyed it. Just like, I mean, it gets a lot of shit because it's a small budget movie. And I see a lot of people critique movies based on how well they do at the box office, which I think is a horrible way to critique a movie. Because look, Dread did horribly at the box office, and that's a fantastic film. Like, I mean, so, and this falls into that same category where it didn't get much advertisement or marketing, but I mean, on the budget it had, I think it did a lot. I mean, there's certain CG scenes that you'll see. It's not as polished as maybe a bigger budget movie, but you know, they tend to shy away from using too much CG, and they go with a lot more practical effects.
The only CG stuff I would say that they probably should have cut. No, the Hellboy's actual fight with the snake. Like a lot of the snake scene was cool, but like his fight with it should have been trimmed down. It was a little too long. There's a little too many flips and jumps with it, in my opinion. But like that was kind of the only part where I was just kind of like, this doesn't look too good. But
yeah. See, Pat loves the Ron Perlman Hellboys, and she enjoyed the other one, the third one. And this is like probably one of her favorite Hellboys, aside from like, let's say, one of the two Ron Perlman movies. And I really enjoyed it too as a Hellboy film. I think, like we were chatting, like you got to see it before I did, and you're like, oh, I think you're gonna really like it, and I really did. And one of the first things that came to mind is Jack Kesey. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Jack Kesey, I believe is how you say it.
Yeah, Jack Kesey plays Hellboy. We'll just do a recap here. So he also played Black Tom in the second Deadpool movie. He's done a bunch of other things. And I thought he did a great job as Hellboy. The whole attitude, demeanor. Like I said, it made me think of like a Mickey Rourke type. And you said, Mickey Rourke from
Sin City. He was a lot like Marv, especially in his delivery.
Yeah, and I thought that fit the character really well, because if you read the comics, like Hellboy is very dry in the way he delivers his puns and stuff like that, you know, like, and so I thought he was great. Like he nailed the whole persona, the character, the attitude of Hellboy. I thought he was great. I think
you can judge this movie by the Sin City metric in a lot of ways. It's filmed a lot like it. It's just not shot in black and white. A lot of the acting is very similar, and like it's written and shot to be like almost a translation of the comic book for the most part, which especially like at a big fight scene that you'll see at the church and stuff like that, like that like hella reminds me of like in Sin City, where they have like all the ladies up there shooting at the bad guys at the end of the big fat kill. Like hella that kind of like that kind of stylization, and hella had that, but like more with the witchy type element.
Speaking of the fight in the church, that first one where he pulls out the gun, and shoots the one coming out of the window, and then they switch to a shot from the outside view of the window, and you just see the guy flying, and when he shoots, like the kick that it gives people and sends them. I love that. I wish they would have continued with that as he was shooting more of them. I just thought that was so cool. It shows like just the power of his gun. I thought that was a really cool, fun scene.
Yeah, Yeah, that whole thing was depicted very well. They did the confusion of it really well, like with the preacher being tempted. Well, meanwhile, like the whole thing with Tom Farrell being messed with, while Hellboy's getting the spikes dug out of his ribs and stuff like that. I thought that it was done really, really well, and they kept the suspense really high. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Till you get to the point where they enchant the shovel and stuff like that, which I I, I thought like I don't want everything to be a perfect adaptation, but every now and then when you see one done as good as this one was, man, you can't help but just grin at it, you know what I mean? And just be pleased that they did
And
such a good job.
that's one thing that we didn't mention when we did our trailer breakdown is uh the director, man. You're speaking of adaptations. The director was Brian Taylor, which we forgot to mention. And Brian Taylor did an adaptation of the TV series for Happy, which we both loved. He worked pretty closely with Grant Morrison to adapt the comic to screen, and I thought that was a fantastic adaptation of a comic as well. So it's not his first rodeo of adapting a comic book to live action, and I think he did a great job with Happy, and I thought he did a fantastic job with Hellboy here as well.
Yeah.
And if you're not super familiar with Brian Taylor's work, you might know him more from his two Crank movies, which I love. So when I found out he was directing this movie, I was kind of happy and stoked to when I found that out. When you told me, you're actually the one who told me. I was like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
I didn't even think to look it up because I just saw like how it was being made, so I didn't even think they got like even a somewhat name like Brian Taylor. And when I saw that they got him, I forget. I think I was actually a What Culture video where they were talking about how bad the movie looked. Yeah, because I remember the really annoying British girl's accent. This movie looks so bad already. Like and I remember like she was saying that like it was Brian Taylor directing it, and like one of my other favorite pre MCU Marvel movies that he also directed was Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. So he's done a
oh,
couple of
that's true.
really
He did that the with the bubbling Jack. Yeah, yeah, the second one, right?
yeah, the good
Yeah, I
one.
love that movie. That was a great movie too. I love the look and the depiction of Ghost Rider in that. Like it's more grimy, more horror centric, which is great for that character and which is fantastic too for Hellboy. He went, like we were saying, from the trailer breakdowns that we did, we said they were going for more of a horror type vibe, less action, like setting the mood of more of a horror story, like a folk gothic horror story, which is exactly what you get in this movie, which was great. I thought that was fantastic because The Crooked Man is a folk horror story. So, and I think he just nailed it. He kept with the theme. And one of the things I read, like you were talking about someone who was talking about the movie, how it looks bad in this. And one of the bad reviews I went and read was one of their critiques was he stayed too true. The adaptation stayed too true to Mike Mignola's story. And I was like, I don't know. I thought that was great. They made a few small changes, like you said, but I mean, he kept the major beats, and I think that's important. Is you got to keep the main beats. You can change little things, but as long as you keep the main beats to the story, then it should turn out good, which I think he did, and I enjoyed it.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, and like I agree with your wife, Pat, 100%. Like I Hellboy 2: The Golden Army is still my favorite comic book movie. Like, and you're gonna have to look long and hard to find somebody that's cooler than Ron Perlman. Like, so like I'm not even gonna try to hold Jack Kesey to that kind of level. But
But I mean, he gives them a run. I have to admit, I
what I
enjoyed
was
it.
getting to though is I love Del Toro's Hellboys, but they were so different from the comic book. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it is kind of cool to see one that is really close. You know what I mean? That really
Mhm.
toes line. And yeah, I would love to see this actually stretched out into a Hellboy to a BPRD series.
BPRD series, yes, because then you don't have to have Hellboy in every episode. You can have different characters. It could be like you know, a story of the like. There's so many cases, right? So it could be like an episode per case or a couple episodes to solve a case. I think it would be great as a series, the BPRD. Like you can introduce so many characters. It doesn't always have to be Hellboy, but you can make appearances in several episodes. I mean, I think it would translate perfectly BPRD to a series for sure.
But like you said, like earlier, we did a trailer breakdown where we kind of went over the comic book and we showed how we thought they were gonna interpret the movie
Mhm.
based off of what we saw, and we were pretty spot on. One of the things that like we kind of touched on already was how we were gonna how they were gonna utilize the few parts where Hellboy is disassociated and like he's kind of at the whim of the Crooked Man, and like what they would choose to show. And you started talking about how they did show his origin but from a different side. And I thought that that was really cool, and like I
Yeah,
would like to kind of touch on that because we were wondering, because like in the actual comic they kind of allude to like Hellboy going to hell, whereas in this one they kind of actually like show you his mom and kind of his
yeah,
birth, and in a different aspect. They don't show him in the big machine being yanked to earth by the Nazis. This time they actually show his birth in hell,
yeah.
which
People
is pretty
say,
gruesome. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's because his mother was a witch who was in love with the devil, and they had a child together, and that's how Hellboy was born, from a witch of the devil.
She was also a nun and King Arthur's great granddaughter. So like she's
It's
got
yeah. It's
she's a country song, like living and breathing Hellboy's mom, straight up.
I mean, they didn't get into all that. They condensed it down to the most important part, was that she's a witch and stuff. Like, you don't want to confuse the people too much that haven't read the comics. It would be like, what the fuck just happened? But then if you've seen, like James said, if you've seen Crank 2, I wouldn't put it past Brian Taylor just to fucking go like nutso and like just do something crazy in the middle of the movie,
Oh,
But
he did, but like in such a good way. Like they threw in the scene with Granny Oakham teaching you how to make the witch balls,
which
and that
I
was,
enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, it was such a neat little just one page out of the comic. And like, yeah, it kind of reminded me of like one of those weird just jump scenes from one of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies where like they just show a person ranting for a minute. Like
Mhm.
I thought that that was like hella cool, but like it was actually something from the comic. Like that just made me grin too. I mean, it's just such a goofy little bonus thing to tack on, but
Yeah.
like,
I like the chapter breaks too. That was kind of fun. Like little chapter breaks. Oh, one thing I loved is right off the beginning. The title, the
yeah,
title screen with like the different backgrounds changing in back of it. Total horror. Like that's a total like 70s, old school 70s horror type title screen, which was fantastic. I love that. Right off the start, I was like, ooh, this is probably going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, you used really good old timey music because there is quite a
Yep.
soundtrack on this, but like
Yep.
it's all old timey, which is really neat. Kind of fits the
Fits
era.
fits the period. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's carrying around his little shortwave radio, trying to find a station that'll come in while he's riding on the train. Yeah. Mm.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I think that Casey kind of played young Hellboy really well. Like a lot of things that like even I've heard people that like the movie discuss is like how Hellboy gets beat up so much in this movie, which I mean like Hellboy always gets beat up a lot. That's
yeah,
kind of one of his things is like he's not very smart, but like you can beat him and like he'll just keep coming.
yeah. He's tough. He's like, what's that? Rocky saying? It's not. It's how. What is it? It's how hard you get hit and keep coming. Well,
Oh,
that's Hellboy's motto is how hard can you get hit but keep on coming, or whatever it is, that Rocky saying. I don't remember what it is, but that's pretty much Hellboy, right? So yeah, he's
yeah.
pretty much Rocky, right? He just gets the shit pummeled out of him, but he just keeps coming and just, eventually overcomes his enemies. Just like the scene where he gets impaled or shot with the fence rods,
Yeah.
all over the place. And then his friend, Agent, what's her name? Agent.
Bobby Joe song.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. He kind of just brushes it off. And
Oh, what's his name? Tom's like, he's killed, and he's like, I'm not killed. Like,
yeah.
he's just like, yanking the spikes out of his chest.
Yeah, just like in the comics. He takes a beating, but keeps on ticking.
And one of the cool things is like how great the Crooked Man look. There's this one scene that's downright funny with him, where like he realizes that there's the sinners in the graveyard, and he does that blinky thing with his eyes. Man, that's like one of the probably greatest horror effects I've seen in a long time. Because like it's such a goofy shot to put in, but like I don't know, it's like one of the things that really endears the film to me. It's like they did like all that they could extra to try to throw in into this film to make it
and
like.
That was one thing in the trailers. You don't really get to see the Crooked Man, and the actor that plays him is Martin Bassendale. And I was like, how the fuck are they going to make this guy look like the Crooked Man? Like, that's what he looks like in the comics, and this is the guy they cast, right? And I was really, really wondering how that was. I was like, they're going to have to use a lot of prosthetics, and actually they did a pretty good job, because this is what he actually looks like in the movie, which is pretty cool. I thought they did a fantastic job with the makeup and everything. And
yeah, Evil Abe Lincoln.
yeah, it's true. He does look like that a little bit. And like Hellboy, like this is a screen test, right? So it's pretty bright. But I mean, he looks pretty good, no?
I will die on the hill that like he looks better than the David Arbor Hellboy.
Yeah.
And the right-handed Doom is probably the my favorite looking one.
And like this is really bright, so you don't get the proper lighting from the movie and everything. Like the movie's a lot more muted, dark, because a lot of it takes place at night and stuff. But I thought
he's almost like Ron Perlman red here, whereas in the movie he's kind of almost more of a maroon, I'd say.
Yeah, because the lighting, a lot of the lighting, and a lot of blue tones too in the movie, especially at night at the church when he's out in the cemetery. So.
But I think the Hellboy design looks great. I think if they do a sequel with a little bit more money behind it, it'll just look better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, also when you get still shots like this, it's always hard to tell, right? Like so many times, like I've seen people post like pictures of like from the sets and stuff, and it looks shitty until you see the person moving in the suit and stuff. You can't really get a good vibe for it either. So I always find it deceiving when you see like still shots of something till you actually see it in action and stuff. You never really know how it'll look.
With Hellboy, it's until you see him in action, man, and until you see the guy actually portraying the character. And and yeah, I can like when you see Kesey riffing as Hellboy, man, like he's legit, man. He's good as it. Like I would say he is like even performatively a way better Hellboy than David Arbor, because like one of my main problems with the 2019 one was how whiny of a character
he was,
wasn't it?
Yeah, like Hellboy isn't. He's moody, but he isn't whiny in the comics. But he is moody, like 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 solitary, like leave me alone, like don't bother me,
Yeah.
Yeah, keeps to himself. He's not. He doesn't whine about his. He's like, these are the cards I've been dealt. Just leave me with my problems and don't concern yourself with me, kind of deal. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my second favorite Hellboy movie though. After after Golden Army, I still love the first one with Ron Perlman a lot, but like I enjoy this movie just a little bit, but just because of it tickles that itch of just seeing Hellboy done, comic book accurate. You know what I mean? On like that Sin City type of my trajectory of it, you know what I mean? Like this movie is changed quite a bit more than Sin City was, but like not too much more though either. You know what I mean? Like
And we could do like a little recap of the cast. So this is Adeline Rudolph plays. She was the extra character they added in. That's not part of the original Crooked Man. She plays Agent Bobby Joe. You said?
Yeah, Bobby Joe Song.
Yeah, so she's the added, and I thought she was great. Her scream when the spider gets out and kills the other agent, like pulverizes his head, and her scream, I thought that was fantastic. That was great. Just it seems so authentic. Her scream, she runs away. It makes me laugh. Then you have Jefferson White, who plays Tom. He did a fantastic job. I thought he was great. A lot of people may know him from Yellowstone. He's in that series. Yeah, so I thought he was great. He did
he does a great job of being very soft spoken and then coming into his own, because like in this version, like in the comic, it seemed like Tom already kind of knew what was going on, whereas in this one, like he kind of gets brought up to full speed with everybody else, and you kind of see him really have to step up. But the actor does it very phenomenally, and he actually does a lot of scenes really well. Like I could see how like doing the scene with your where your dad a horse transforms into your dead dad could be kind of hard to pull off, but like when that scene happens in the film, like his emotions pretty damn good. Like I was like, I think that he is pretty good with what he had to work with. You know, I could see how a lot of other people wouldn't have taken this movie too seriously, but I think I think everybody really performed. I think that they saw that this was an opportunity. If they really nailed this and showed that you could make a movie this cool for this little bit of money, you know, like
I think it was 20 million the budget on this.
so like we're probably going to be entering into like the micro budget sphere of comic book movies. I mean, McFarlane's been trying to get his off the ground for a while.
Spawn.
Like this is this I'm pretty sure all but like confirmed that that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that this is McFarlane's. He's like showing this around to everybody, saying like, look at they made this, so just give me my money. And
Yeah,
and I think that we're going to see quite a bit more of these. And I think if they can pull them off this well, like let's do it, man. We've seen like the $20 billion ones till eyes bled, you know what I mean? Like show us some stuff that's actually got some real passion behind it. Because this movie reminded me of a lot of type of horror movies that I watched when I was a kid, but like they were different ones than I expected. I didn't really expect it to kind of like hit on that kind of Pumpkinhead level, where this was a movie that was kind of made for fans of something that wanted to get back to the roots, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And like it's got that kind of feel to it where like it's like a genuine old monster movie, but like
And
made with that love, you know what I mean?
yeah, and a self-contained one where it's not connected to this other thing and this, you know, in a bigger world. And like, I mean, Marvel and DC are already doing that. We don't need every fucking movie to be that. So I'm happy that they went with, you know.
Yeah, they name dropped enough stuff. They showed the BPRD card. If you pay attention, you'll see Bobby Joe flash with a card with the BPRD symbol, and they say Professor Broom's name once in it. You know what I mean? So like, if you're a hardcore fan, they said the thing, but like aside from that, yeah, it's pretty much disconnected. Like,
like it's its own movie. You could pick it. You could pick up a sequel and just run with the same characters. It doesn't need to be connected to this one. It could just be another story. You know, like not everything has to be connected to the thing that came before it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what Hellboy is. It's not like, I mean, he is an ongoing series, but like his books came out as like 3-issue, 4-issue, like little mini series that were like that story, and then you had to wait until, you know, like Hellboy rotated around again to get his next story. You know what I mean? Because that's how Mignola used to do his books. You know, like half the year it'd be like BPRD, then he'd do Hellboy, or like whatever kind of tie-in book he was going to be writing for that time, like Lobster or Abe or whoever else. So
yeah, for sure.
but with Brian Taylor attached this, man, I'm thinking, what do you think about Abe Sapien? You know, Jason Statham as him. Abe Sapien, funny name for a fish man, I know. Like, yeah. I already knows him from Crank, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It would be funny, but
yeah,
I don't think people would. I'd get a kick out of it, but I don't think too many people would like it. Well, let's round out the actors here. You have Hannah Margetson, who plays
Cora Fisher. Which I mean, I feel for this poor girl. Like, how would you be waiting to get your big call in Hollywood, and it's like, yeah, you're going to be in a comic book movie. Oh, but you're playing a woman in a Richard Corbin comic. Like, that's kind of not the call you want to get, right?
Yeah.
As a up-and-coming female actress, I almost.
What's great about her character too is they do the raccoon scene, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's probably one of the greatest things. You want to see something that's going to take you back to old school horror, like that is like right out of the American Werewolf in London, werewolf transformation style. Like that is one of the coolest gags I've seen in a long time in a horror film.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I was so happy that they put that into because in the comic it's so cool, and it's just as cool in the movie. So if you've read the comics, they do adapt that raccoon scene where she takes her skin back, which is great. Then we have Leah McNamara. McNamara. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, she plays
I thought this girl has to be Rob Zombie's daughter, man. She reminded me so much of Sherry Moon Zombie. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah, yeah. She plays,
which is not a bad thing. Well, I mean, like I like Sherry Moon Zombie. I know like she's got her detractors, but like I always enjoy her and stuff. So,
what was her character's name again? I forget.
Effie Kolb.
Effie Kolb, yeah, Effie Kolb, the witch that Tom kind of had a dealings with as a boy.
Oh, and Hellboy talks mad shit to her too. Like their little back and forth in the movie are actually pretty funny. So
yeah, she's pretty sassy in it, and she does a good job of portraying her.
Yeah,
I that's one character I thought they showed less of, that had a bit of a bigger role in the comic and maybe a slightly smaller role in the movie.
Yeah, they probably, which I think is a good idea. I think that she was really really well suited for what they did with her in the film. You know what I mean? Like they played to the character's strengths, and yeah, and she really shined when she needed to, like at the scene outside of the house, and then at the churchyard. You know what I mean? When she was trying to intimidate Hellboy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, she was good. And then
her big fight with Tom was great too, where like he boned her so hard she flew out the window.
People, once you see the movie, you'll understand that reference. Then we have Joseph Marcel, who people will know obviously from the picture Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He plays the priest, the blind priest, and
he was going for the Oscar in this, man.
Yeah, like he goes big. He goes yeah.
And he's great, man. Like he brings it home, man. It's a worthwhile performance in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of channeling his Nick Cage a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah, he goes super extra, but like he's playing like an old blind preacher during a zombie attack. So like you kind of need somebody to go a little wild, you know?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed his performance. Yeah. So that's pretty much the main cast of characters that you'll see throughout the movie as that has a significant screen time.
Yeah, there's probably about like 5 or 6 other characters, but like they're only in like a scene each.
Yeah.
Very small cast, very tight cast for it, you know what I mean? But like it all works really well.
Like there's a few scenes out in the woods, then you have a couple cabins, and then you have the church, right? And then you have the final conflict that's at the Crooked Man's house.
Yeah, it's a little over 90 minutes long. It just starts and just goes, you know what I mean? Like at a nice cut and like a nice brisk pace, and like yeah, they added quite a bit of a fight to the end, you know what I mean? But like you don't really notice it, you know what I mean? In my opinion, I always thought the ending of the comic was a little rushed and kind of weak, so I like that they kind of added like a bit more of a fight to the Crooked Man side
at the end. Yeah, that's what I told Pat, because in the comic it's pretty much just
they show up at the house and whack him.
Yeah, that's it. Like he's weakened, and he's in a weakened state, just hiding out and is hoping that he'd have time to recuperate. But yeah, it was really good. I thought so disappointed that this didn't get a theatrical release, because I would have gone to the movies to see this for sure. And Pat, after we watched it, Pat was like, man, why didn't this get into the movies? Like she said, this is better. We went and saw 4 movies this summer. We decided to finally go back to the theaters and give it a try. And she's like, this was better than every movie we went and saw this summer in the theaters, you know? So oh yes, he was in The Strain. Good call, Randy. Yeah, I forgot. That's he plays the goth
Boulevard
Marilyn Manson looking vampire. That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's one of the longest lasting characters in the show too. Did you ever finish that, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
We made it all the way through. Yeah.
That last season is a little disappointing, but like it's still a really good show.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun.
I hate his kid so much, man. I hate his kid so much.
Yeah, he is. They changed the actor though.
Yeah.
From
After they
season
changed the actor,
2 to
he got
3?
worse too. Yeah.
From season 2 to 3 or something like that, they went and changed the actor. Yeah. And that's like a bit of a 6 degrees of separation, right? Because you have what's his name is the producer of that show, who directed the first 2 Hellboys. Yeah. And then you have Jack Kesey that plays a role in that, who then later on portrays Hellboy in this new movie. So there's kind of like this Hellboy connection between them, even though they didn't work on it together. There's still kind of that. They're part of the Hellboy club now, both of them. And that's another thing. The Mike Mignola documentary is out. You can go find that on streaming platforms and rent it. And I think that's worthwhile because they get into not only the comics, but how the movie came to be and how close it almost came to never being, right? And they tackle that in the documentary about Mike Mignola creating Hellboy, the comic, and everything. So that's a fun listen too. I'd recommend people go watch that. Yeah. A guy from Baywatch.
Yeah, I think Jack Kesey was on Baywatch back
in
the day.
The original or the remake? Because there's a remake, right? That's out?
Probably the old one. No, I think the remake one's called Rescue Rescue Beach or something like that. It looks like a Baywatch, or unless there is another like actual Baywatch show, but like the commercial I saw for a show that looked like it was. But yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, he can't be that old, can he?
No, he's like
there's probably like a reboot or remake kind of early aughts, maybe.
Or maybe he was the little kid in it.
Oh, maybe.
Wasn't there like a little boy that hung out with them?
Could be. That could be him. I don't know, man. Randy's gonna have to school us on that. I don't know. But he's got all the answers, man. Come on, Randall. Clue us in on what the hell that's all about. I'm gonna have to go check it out now. Fucking Baywatch. That's the Hasselhoff, right?
If it's the original, yeah.
Baywatch, yeah, that was Hasselhoff, right? That's with the girls in the red bathing suits and all that shit running down the beach with their bouncing melons. Pamela Anderson, right? That was her big break. So, man,
he was in the movie with The Rock.
Oh, okay, the Baywatch movie. I got you. Okay, yeah. What's his name in that? Little
Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zac Efron. Yeah, little
Sonic's friend.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the High School the Musical guy.
Yeah. I think he was only on one season, I think, but whatever. That's where he got his break. Yeah, man. So this is our third entry to spooky season. We're supposed to get more in by now, but we've had things come up, so
yeah,
maybe we'll try to do a fucking bang a few more out next week. And
well, I mean,
we still haven't done any comics yet. We got to do some we have some comics lined up. We have a couple Hellboy comics. So
do you want to do those next week, or do you want to do the Tales of Terror? Because like that's really
well, I would like to do the Hellboy Mexico one because we're going to give James's Kickstarter. I was planning on he sent me the video for his Kickstarter, and I was like, we could plug the Kickstarter because I think that marries very well to his Kickstarter book. So. Yeah, so I was going to play that little video that he sent. And so I don't know. We could do that either Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Or
or later this weekend, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, we could do it tomorrow if you're up for it. I don't know.
You got the PDFs for those off of
the Yeah, I can screenshot a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
because I only have the physical copies of those two.
Because now on Global Comics, they've added DC stuff onto Global Comics now. It's getting really good. That it's kind of just as good, if not better, than Comixology, because actually the subscription works for non-US citizens. Like I think it's global, which is great because it's called Global Comics. So with your subscription, it's not region blocked to anyone. I think it's you sign up to Global Comics and you have access to everything with a membership, which is great. I've been reading what did I read? Prairie Gods. That's a Mad Cave book that just came out. Issue 2 just dropped. That's a pretty fun book. I'll talk about it when we talk about our comic stuff with the check-in.
Okay.
I read issue 1 and 2 of that. They just added some DC stuff on Global Comics, which is cool. I'll go check to see what they have there. They have some Black Label, some Vertigo stuff. So I'm going to go check, see what they've selected for the DC stuff there. And yeah, man, there's a lot of cool stuff on
I
Global
just read some
Comics.
DC stuff. I got that Ed Brubaker, Darwin Cook Catwoman book, which was excellent.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He posted that.
That's something.
So, yeah. So we'll do a...
Yeah,
we'll do Hellboy Mexico tomorrow night. Sounds good to me.
Hellboy Mexico and House of the Living Dead, right? Since
House of the Living Dead, because it's the continuation, or it's the two stories are tied together because of the that character. What's his name?
Yeah, and they're both in Mexico, right?
Yeah, they both take place. Yeah, it's kind of like the continuation of the story, or it ties the quiet moments of the story. Like,
and I think altogether it's only like 60-something pages. So
yeah, because the House of the Dead, is that it? House of
the Living Dead, yeah.
House of the Living Dead is 54 pages, and I think Mexico is just a normal one shot.
Yeah.
So like maybe just over 70 pages total. So it's not a huge book, but you know.
Yes. So next time more Richard Corbin Hellboy goodness coming up.
Yeah, both were drawn by Richard Corbin, so which is great.
Yeah.
So we'll do that tomorrow night then, and we'll plug James's book, his Kickstarter book, Evil.
I wonder if Richard Corbin. I want to. Too bad we can't interview him. I'd like to ask him if he had a daughter and if she like said stuff to him, like kind of like Adrian's daughter says about his characters.
Yeah, I don't know. He's deceased now, so
yeah, that's a
just recently, right? Like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
hasn't been too long ago.
No,
like in 2020, I think, something like that.
Or I think later before then. I think like 2019, 2018, something like that. I think he passed.
Oh shit! So it's been a good 5-6 years then, longer than I thought. I thought it'd only been like 2-3 years at most.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. I don't know, but like, yeah, I'm not entirely.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he's passed away. Rest in peace, Richard Corbin. Great work on Hellboy. Great work. Great cartoonist.
So yeah, we'll be back doing that. Oh, and what's your overall rating for the movie, man? Like, I once again, I give it another 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say 8 is fair. Yeah, I think within the budget and everything, I think they did a fantastic job with this, and I think an 8 is definitely. December 2nd, 2020, he passed away.
You're right, man. It was.
Yeah, because I think I was looking through stuff and I saw it as when they. Wikipedia, you have like their date of birth, and they put the date of passing as well right beside it. And I think I caught it real quick when I was looking stuff up. So, yeah, thanks, James, for giving us the specifics on that.
We got to do like a retrospective, like pick out like when he just did art for some of our favorite horror comics. Like he did this arc for Hellblazer that Brian Azzarello wrote. It was really great, where like John Constantine's in prison, like called Doing Time. Like that'd be a fun one to cover by Richard Corbin. His stuff on Ghost Rider was kind of fun when Danny Way was writing it.
Maybe we could get Butt Boy back on. He'll have some free time after October, so maybe he'll be down to do an episode or two with us.
Who, Matt Fulci?
Yeah, Butt Boy.
Fart Boy.
Fart Boy. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's into it or if he'll be in the mood, but he'll have some free time now after October, so maybe he'll want to get back on.
Maybe we could get James on with us. He seems to like Corbin a lot.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we could do an episode on Richard. For sure.
Yeah, and I'm jealous because James did an episode on Paul Pope with another guy's show. So, like, yeah, we could do a Richard Corbin show with James. That'd be gangster.
Yeah, man, just name the books and I'll get the reading done, and we could, did a lot of Edgar Allan Poe books. Adaptations to Edgar Allan Poe. That was all for Dark Horse, James?
I think they republished
Most
a
of his
lot of
stuff,
it.
eh?
Yeah.
Well, I think they released one of his, reprinted something of his recently in hardcover.
Yeah, they've been putting out the Den books for the stuff that he did for heavy metal.
That's what it was. Through Dark Horse, I think, reprinted those in hardcover editions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Den, that's what it was. I saw just recently this year.
Yep.
Yep. All right, cool. So, man, that's our take on Hellboy the Crooked Man. I mean, if you didn't like it, well, tough shit. I mean, go keep watching your MCU, DCU bullshit, and leave the good stuff for us.
Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah, because like I keep hearing people talk about like, oh, we're so tired of superheroes, but like we want the alternative. Like you're given them now, man. Like I guess like, and you know what? Like I understand that like they're lower budgets now, but like that's probably a better thing if you ask me.
It forces the directors to actually make movies instead of just throwing fucking effects at you. And have it's like empty calories. All these fucking superhero movies are like empty calories. I mean, there's like fucking don't even get me started on fucking Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, well, this is a positive only show, Joe. We try to keep it that way. So yeah, like better not get us both started on that one.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's cut the stream now before I fucking lose it.
But yeah, look forward to a Richard Corbin episode with us and James Edward Clark. That could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm down for that. If James is down, I'll definitely I'd be down for some Richard Corbin with James.
But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next couple days. We're going to be talking about Hellboy in Mexico and Hellboy House of the Living Dead, as well as Evil Comics, because that is live on Kickstarter. And yeah, I'm going to put the link in the description. It's not there right now, but it should be there whenever you're listening to this. So, check it out and maybe back the book. All right. I'll holler at you guys later. Take it easy, y'all. All right. Go to Kickstarter.